Hello and welcome to week 5 of LIBS 301. This week we are looking again at the evaluation step, and congratulations, we have made it past the halfway mark of this course. So this week, what we are going to be doing for required materials, we have a lot less than last week. So we have the week 5 instructor video, and then we have the YouTube video of Write Perfect Annotations for your annotated bibliography. For our supplemental or non-required materials that you guys can look through, we have Formatting and Annotated Bibliography in APA 7th edition video. And this week we do have a major assignment due, which is our Annotated Bibliography Assignment. It's our first of 2 major assignments, and this is worth 50 points. So for this week's information literacy concept, like I said, we have the step of evaluate. So as a reminder, evaluating is critically examining information that we found for credibility, reliability, and usability. So we're going to be doing this through an annotated bibliography. So what is a bibliography? So bibliography is a list of sources, so it's your books, journals, websites, that you've used for researching your topic. So this includes all of the sources you looked at as well as used, and it's kind of regardless of whether or not you're going to use this in your final paper or research project. So this is kind of everything you've looked at that's kind of led to kind of developing your ideas and your arguments. Now, an annotated bibliography includes a write-up evaluating your sources and providing you with context about the source and its usefulness to you as the researcher and the writer. So the difference between a reference page and a bibliography. So your reference page, if you were doing MLA, it would be your works cited page, is your list of sources used within your research paper. But a bibliography is everything you've looked at. So it's kind of really expanding and going bigger than what you've used. So why create and use an annotated bibliography? So this is really a device for you guys to use. It's much more than just, I want you guys to work on something and throw this together. This is for you guys. So if you think of it as a resource for you as the writer to help you kind of sort your research and what you've already looked at, this will be a very helpful resource. So it's a quick go-to reference to any research or articles that you've read through. It allows you to kind of make some notes and go, hey, this is what was in it. This is where it would work for my paper. The annotations help you organize and determine which sources to use throughout your paper, as well as kind of where to put those sources. By creating annotated bibliographies, it can help jumpstart your thinking process. And this kind of looks kind of how you would use an outside source, what you want to put into it. You can take what you've written in your annotations and add it to your paper because this is all your work for this project, if that makes sense. So annotated bibliographies are a resource for you to use and utilize. It's not necessarily for me as the instructor. So how are we going to create an annotation? So there's 3 portions of an annotation, and I need all 3 of these for full points as I'm going through and grading. So first we have our summarizing. So you're asking what are the main arguments of the paper or the article? What is the point of this article? What topics are covered and talked about? And if someone asked you, what is this article about? What would you tell them? Your summary is going to be your biggest chunk of your annotation because this is what you're going to kind of fill in. It's usually going to be 2 to 3 to 4 sentences, a nice kind of beefy amount that you go, yes, I know what was written and talked about, but not so much that it's just kind of going on and on. Our next point is going to be our assessment and evaluation. So how does this source compare with other sources that you've read? Is the information reliable? Is there a source or the author that's biased? Are they objective? And then what was the overall goal of this source? This is where you're evaluating, kind of using the CRAP method, the proven method, the SIFT method, going, it's a good source, it's not a great source. How are we evaluating it? For this part, you only need a sentence or two, kind of what was good about it, what was bad about it. Now, our final part of the annotation is the reflection part. So this, in my mind, is one of the most important parts of the annotation because it's a direct correlation to your final essay. So the reflection point is, was this source useful to you? Does it help you shape your argument? Can you use this source in your research project? And then maybe did it change how you thought about your topic? So for this part, it's saying this was a really good source because it helps me argue this point I'm making, and I'm going to put it at this section of my paper. So the reflection only needs to be a sentence or two, but this is a really important part of saying yes or no. And you might have some sources where you go, it was an interesting source, but it really isn't connecting. It's not something that I would use. And that's perfectly okay. For your final essay, you'll find a new source for your fifth source, but that's perfectly fine. It's to be expected to get a couple of duds as you go through your research. So we're going to look at an example of an annotation. So for your annotation, you're going to start with your APA citation. So here we have it fully cited. I will be editing and reviewing your citations, giving you guys feedback so you can change that for the final essay. Then we'll write out our annotation. So this is probably 5 or 6 sentences long, nothing too much, but we'll look at how this is broken down. So like I mentioned, the first part is going to be our summary. So this is a study. It took 300 participants who were unfamiliar with yoga. It tested their effects, the before and after. They did some anxiety tests. Both groups showed significant decrease in symptoms. The next part is going to be our assessment and evaluating. So after we say, what was this article about? We want to look at, was this a good article? So for the assessment and evaluation, we're saying the study looked at 300 participants, so it was a very good number, and it showed significance throughout statistical tests and provided accurate results. So it's saying it tested a handful of people, it gave me good numbers, and it listed out what they found. So it's a very nice source. Then for the reflection, here we say, was the study helpful or not? Was this paper helpful or not? So this was helpful. It was a good introduction to yoga and anxiety, which is applicable to my paper. So you need all 3 portions of your annotation to get full points in your annotated bibliography. So for the assignment, for your instructions, so you're going to write your annotated bibliography consisting of 5 sources. Please also make sure they're in alphabetical order for full points. So you're using the topic you selected in week 1 and the sources that you found last week and moving forward through that. So 4 of the 5 sources must be from academic journals. The final source can be from an online location, so a government fact sheet or a reputable nonprofit organization. All of your annotations will include your APA formatted citation, a description of the source, and a critical analysis of the usability of the source for your final essay. So it is strongly encouraged that you use the sources you found last week as 2 of your sources as these assignments build upon each other. And also use that evaluation you looked at within your annotations as well. So for the points breakdown, like I mentioned, it is a 50-point assignment. So 10 points is going to be for the source quality and type of source. 15 points are for your annotations, and then 25 points are for your citation and reference list formatting. So the annotated bibliography rubric is located both on the instructions document and the assignments folder. So please make sure you're looking at those. So for materials to look through for this week, you need to look at the week 5 instructor video as well as the how to write perfect annotations for your annotated bibliography video. We also have the supplemental or non-required video of formatting an annotated bibliography in APA 7th edition. Like I mentioned, we have one assignment due for this week, which is the annotated bibliography. So create your bibliography consisting of your 5 sources. Make sure it's an APA style and alphabetically organized. This is going to be due on Thursday at midnight. And if you have any questions as you're working through this, please reach out. I am more than happy to help and to guide you guys through this as you work through this process. I look forward to looking at all of your guys' annotations and your citations and giving you guys feedback as those come in. Have a great rest of your week.